Is it just me, or does EICMA season seem like it starts earlier and earlier every year? Because at this point, I'm kind of expecting to go in July and start hearing news about all these brand new model year motorcycles that are coming out. But today, we are beginning October off strong with CFMOTO's 2024 model year announcement. We've got all kinds of cool new bikes coming out from them. Some stuff is visual reworks and some stuff is brand new that I'm very excited for, and certainly won't make any Suzuki GSX 8S owners feel a little bit bad. Now, I'm going to start this video off by addressing those folks in the comments, like I seemingly always have to do, who are going to sit there and be like, CFMOTO, not reliable. CFMOTO, bad motorcycle. Chinese bikes bad. I see a lot of that every time I talk about this stuff. And every time I bring it up, I'm like, can you back that up, or are you just saying that? Because I know people are going to point to my Hawk. And yeah, my Hawk is a piece of junk. It's a cheap $1,600 motorcycle. What do you expect for $1,600? CFMOTO is not cranking out $1,600 motorcycles. CFMOTO is making bikes that are brand new, high quality pieces of equipment. And to address the reliability concern, they've been making motorcycles they've been making motors forever, since like the 80s. They make a lot of side-by-sides and quads and stuff, and that's really where they've gotten their start. And if you know a redneck like I do, ask them how hard they ride their quad, and they'll tell you that they beat the crap out of those things. It's just those see almost more abuse than like a DRZ 400, but owned by a Supermoto squid. Until I'm proven otherwise, and I can really see and point to examples where these motorcycles are falling apart at the seams, I just don't see it. Every CFMOTO that I've ridden, which has been a handful at this point, have been, they're not going to blow you away in terms of their production quality. They're very much in the 650 affordable motorcycle class, which is what they're shooting for, man. And if they're not trying to make the bestest motorcycle of ever, why does it matter if the clusters are a little bit, plasticky? Because the plasticky clusters on Japanese 650s are basically the same way. That's just my little diatribe here at the start. Now let's dive on into the news. So I actually got to sit down with one of the guys at CFMOTO here in the US, and he walked me through the entire model year rundown for 2024, which was really cool. However, when we were talking, we were under embargo, and the way it works is embargoes are out so that basically, a company can be like, hey, this is all our stuff. This is really cool. And then the reviews start coming out. It's basically, the cynical way to look at it is it's controlling the message. In reality, it's just making sure that people don't review bomb stuff. Sometimes review bombing is necessary. Most of the time, it's absolutely not. And in this case, the CFMOTO embargo, it just makes total sense for me. Unfortunately, I have forgotten the exact numbers because when we were talking, I couldn't be given the spec sheet for all these bikes. But because the video I'm currently recording is after embargo released, which was today, Monday, you're seeing this tomorrow, Tuesday, I will have all the exact numbers on screen. So, little caveat there. Now, let's start out with models that will not be returning for 2024. You have the 650NK and you have the 650 Adventura. So the NK was basically their naked bike, and for reasons that will become very apparent shortly, or probably already are apparent if you looked at the thumbnail, they don't need a 650NK in the lineup anymore. They also are getting rid of the Aventura. The Aventura was basically like a sport touring bike, kind of like their version of a Versus 650, and nothing of value was lost. It's a great bike. It's a fine motorcycle. It just does nothing for me. And frankly, I'm okay with the 650 motor that they had going the way of the Dodo, because their 700 is actually better. It's like 693 cc's. It's got a very unique kind of tuning on it that feels almost like VTEC. That is a better motor for them to be using, as opposed to, you know, basically the Kawasaki 650 motor.
I interrupt this tirade to bring you a quick word from today's sponsor, Flying Eyes. They make hands down the best pair of sunglasses for your ride. They fit between your head and your helmet with no pressure points thanks to their thin stems, and they're built to take a beating. I ran over my Kingfishers with a Harley, and then I dropped them off my Guzzi going 30 miles an hour, and they keep on trucking. They even have prescription options available. Click that link down in the description below and use the code SC10 for 10% off your order. Now let's get back to it.
So with both of those bikes gone, that leaves some interesting voids in the lineup. And let's start out with some of their newer, well, not new, but refreshed motorcycles. Now, they have the Papio. The Papio is their little Grom, and I've seen these things bopping around. They take all the same abuse that a Grom takes with the exact same kind of love and wanton abandon. And they are bringing out the Papio CL and the Papio SS. And these are basically both reskins. You are seeing some updates in the suspension. You're seeing some updates here and there. But largely, this is an aesthetic upgrade. I really like the look of the Papio SS. I can see this showing up at like Grom racing leagues and stuff. Just because it looks like it's a fully fared little retro thing. And then of course they have the CL, which is their scrambler looking one. That's going to ship with some, you know, knobbies, they say, but it's just going to be like it's like probably the tire that the Fat Bob comes on. A knobby in the sense that it has big sipes all the way around, and it kind of looks like it has blocks, but in reality it's a street tire. But I guarantee you, Grom Squids will get their hands on the CL, and they're going to start hill climbing it with Adventure Grom tires, because it's really cheap. It's like $300 or something like that. Now, we start getting into the real meat here with the 450NK. So, if you missed it, I did a whole review on the 450SS, which was their beginner sport bike with this 450cc P-twin in it that is got a 270-degree crank. And it sounds awesome. It sounds awesome. It delivers great power. It's very clearly coming for the Ninja 400. And I struggled to find a problem with that motorcycle. Yeah, the wings are silly, but they just look so cool. And we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but looks are one of the things that set CFMOTO apart. Based on that success, it makes sense to make a naked bike with the 450, and that's exactly what they're doing. So you've got yourself the 450NK that has like J1 brakes, and all of the same like nice TFT display stuff. It's got the LED lights up front that do a little dance when you turn it on, and they have it in some pretty striking colorways. And again, we're dealing with a properly affordable motorcycle that's going to make all the power that a beginner needs, and enough to keep them happy for a good long while. That's super important with these little bikes, is that not only are they good for a beginner to get on, but they're good for a beginner to keep, and they're basically designed to last. Now, this was an absolute no-brainer. I think it's going to be a complete slam dunk. I do occasionally see people ripping around here. We're out on Lime Creek. I see guys ripping around here on their little Z400, and if I were starting out, knowing the way that I like my motorcycles to be, sound is very important. and hearing the 450SS, or 450NK rather, versus the little Z400, I'm going to take the 450NK. Now, I think the biggest news here with CFMOTO has to be their 800NK. This is one that I had a really strong suspicion was coming. I didn't realize it was going to come quite this quickly. So the 800NK, it's got like 100 horsepower. It weighs 420-ish pounds, again, full specs on screen. And it's got the J1 brakes, which, again, J1 is they're really solid braking components. And it's got all of the kind of tech you would expect. This is coming from the Ibex platform. It's 100 pounds lighter than the Ibex, with similar power, similar torque, and honestly, from where I'm sitting, really, really cool looking aesthetics. I think that the vibe they're going for with the 800NK, it's striking, but not in a polarizing way. Where I see the GSX 8S being a very polarizing look, where some people are like, I love it or I hate it. I don't think the 450NK is going to be like that. Although, feel free to let me know if I'm wrong down below. If you hate the looks of this motorcycle, do let me know. I'm actually kind of interested to see where people land, because it's like a mesh of Kiska styling from KTM and MT styling from Yamaha and some more classic lines in it. Beauty about this bike, it's coming in very aggressively priced, around about $8,300. It's coming for the GSX 8S. It's coming for the KTM 790. It's coming for the MT-07. It's coming for all of these bikes, and I think it's just gonna clean house. I don't see a world in which somebody gets off the NK and they're like, that was not fun. I would rather go get myself a GSX 8S. It's the KTM motor. KTM motors are awesome. And that's going to wrap up kind of the news from CFMOTO. And I'd like to take a quick detour into speculation land and talk about what I think we're going to see from CFMOTO. Because what CFMOTO is doing is actually very strategic and very intelligent, I would say. What they're doing is they're looking at the market and they're looking at the bikes that people are buying. And the bikes that people are buying are little baby parallel twin beginner bikes that look like awesome sport bikes, because it's what draws a lot of people to the sport. Thus, 450SS. Then you have some people who are like, yeah, sport bike, okay, cool, but I like the naked bike thing. They still want to start on a good one, 450NK. Then you have guys out there who are, good lord, that guy was coming around that corner quickly. You've got guys out there who are big into the adventure scene and they want an adventure touring motorcycle, and that is a segment where people are spending a lot of cash right now. Boom, 800 Ibex. Now they're moving into the slightly bigger displacement naked bike scene, because we are seeing this sort of divergence. We're seeing people step away from 650s and go into slightly larger big bore parallel twins or slightly smaller big bore parallel twins, sitting around 500 to 800 cc's. That's like the cap for the little bikes is 500. And I'm kind of seeing the cap at 800-ish for the big bore parallel twins. So they're offering something for both of those riders. I don't see a world in which in the next 2 years, 18 months, we don't hear about an 800SS. Guaranteed that's coming. 100%. There's no... And I'll come back and eat my Grizo if I'm wrong about an 800SS not coming out. I would be stunned, because with rumors that the GSX 8SS or R or whatever it's going to be coming out from Suzuki, to counter the R7, and news that Honda's going to try to make a CB750R, CBR 750R. Why would CFMOTO sit and not offer them a great angle? And this is also going to reach out to the KTM people who don't have a fully fared sport bike in that segment, because KTM claims that they're more interested in creating safe motorcycles, and creating race bikes is unsafe, and yet they're making the 1390. That's a whole other topic, but they're going to offer bikes to people that they really want. I think the 800 SS is a slam dunk. One thing that they don't offer yet, that I think they are going to offer, hyper naked. I would reckon that within the next 3 to 4 years, we see a Super Duke competitor based on the 1302, the 1302 V-twin from KTM. I think we're going to see a hyper naked. 3 to 4 years, something like that. Another thing that we don't see from them, cruisers. 100% we're going to see some cruisers. These are going to be directly targeted at the American market. I think we'll see a muscle cruiser from them. I honestly think we'll see a muscle cruiser with the V-twin KTM LC8 motor, which sign me up for, baby. Hell yeah. If that comes out, I want to be at the launch for that, because that is going to be a wild ride. I also think we're going to see some parallel twin cruisers, something like a beefed up Vulcan 650 with the 800 motor. You know, 100 horsepower-ish cruiser, something that can go toe-to-toe with the Scout, because I think that CFMOTO can do it, and I think they can offer it at a price Indian simply cannot compete with, or that Indian does not desire to compete with. So I'm expecting some pretty big things, all things considered, out of CFMOTO, and I'm going to continue to watch them like a freaking hawk, because it's a very aggressive company. They're doing some aggressive stuff. They're coming in aggressive with pricing. They're giving you a lot for your dollar. There's a lot of bang for the buck. They're trying to muscle in the big players. And I am going to try my damnedest to get my hands on the 800NK when it comes out. And I'm going to do a whole bunch of stuff, including, if they'll let me, spin it up on a dyno over at AF1, take some trips on it, do a lot of crazy stuff with this motorcycle, and hopefully disprove a little bit of that reliability myth, because I do believe it is a myth. And with that, guys, let me know your thoughts on the CFMOTO 2024 model year lineup, and let me know your thoughts on them as a company. I know this is going to be kind of contentious, but are you excited to see more from them, or do you think that they're just treading the ground that other companies have done better? Let me know all your thoughts down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later.